I'm Carrie Brett, and this is Shot at Love. Today's episode is all about the total eclipse of the heart, where we'll have a cosmic conversation with renowned astrologer and psychic healer Jill Jardine. With eclipse season upon us, Jill will guide us through the powerful shifts and transformations that eclipses bring. These planetary events can remove obstacles, reveal hidden truths, and open doors to unexpected opportunities. Whether seeking personal breakthroughs or wondering how the stars impact your dating life, this episode is for you. Stay tuned for astrological insights and practical advice to help you align with the universe's energy as we head into the final months of 2024. Jill Jardine has a master's degree in counseling and psychology. She is a professional Western and Vedic astrologer, psychic, healer, hypnotherapist, Kundalini yoga teacher, and certified Sanskrit mantra instructor. She has been facilitating clients with these various modalities, doing readings professionally, and teaching self-actualization, metaphysical, and yogic workshops for over 30 years. Jill's clients continue to return as her techniques work so effectively for them. She has hosted the internationally acclaimed podcast, Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine, since 2020. She's also a dear friend of mine and my psychic advisor. It is my honor to welcome her to the show today. Hi, Jill.
Hey, Carrie. So glad to be back at Shot at Love. Always a pleasure and honor to be your guest.
Welcome to the Cosmic Party.
You betcha. Right smack in the middle of eclipse season.
Unbelievable. So you are our resident astrologer, and this is the last leg of the tour. We're going to be doing the last 3 months, the predictions around the different planetary alignments and what we should expect in general, personally, professionally, collectively, dating-wise. We're going to cover all of it.
That's right. And it's a great time to be putting out a podcast episode on all this because we are, as we record this, smack in the middle of eclipse season, which will play out in the coming months of October, November, and December of 2024. But people need to know what's getting triggered, how it's getting triggered, what they can do, be empowered around this process, not victimized by it, and use the energy to make the most out of your life and ride the waves of change.
Right. And I think we should talk about that there will be these new beginnings and unexpected revelations. And this eclipse season, we need to know what's in store. We just had an eclipse on September 17th, and now we have an eclipse that is coming up on October 2nd. So talk about this.
Yeah, so the eclipse on September 17th activated the signs Pisces and Virgo. So tag you're it, Pisces and Virgo out there, because it's the precursor for the next 6 eclipses are going to be activating. That's till February of 2027. So we're going to have this one that we had, then we're going to have one in March of 2025, 2 in March, activating Pisces, Virgo, 2 in September of 2025, 2 in the March and September, late August of 2026, and then we end with a February 2027. So put on your seatbelts, Virgo and Pisces, because a lot of shifts and changes, but we all have it somewhere in our chart. So this was all about Virgo and Pisces, which happens to be the health axis in astrology. Virgo is more traditional medicine, where Pisces is more energetic. They both also rule boundaries. Virgo tends to have good boundaries. Pisces is more fluid. So we're looking at water and earth. So what we're going to see in the aftermath of this particular eclipse, a lot of earth changes, earth shifts, and also water. And I heard there was just a tsunami, which I actually predicted happened recently. And then water events like hurricanes and inundations, we're going to see more of them this fall. And that's already happening. It's also going to bring up issues around health and how to integrate both allopathic or traditional with non-traditional. We're going to see a lot of that in the next 2 years coming up in the mainstream. But for people personally, Virgo rules the physical body and Pisces rules the emotional body. Pisces, the water sign, Virgo, an earth sign. So I noticed it's been about almost 2 weeks out since that eclipse, and there's a lot of stuff coming up for people physically. Some of it energetically, some of it's energetic, and some they actually have to go check out with their medical doctors. A lot of issues are coming to the surface health-wise. So do be vigilant and proactive and make sure you check all that out because things are getting really stirred up. But that being said, also emotionally, people are being very stirred up and a lot is coming out of people emotionally as well as physically. So just be aware of that.
Well, it's interesting because the two are so aligned. And if you are not good emotionally, then it comes out in the physical.
Right. Well, the physical is the densest vibration, so it does have to go through the emotional body before it manifests physically. So a lot of times physical things are unprocessed emotional from any point in your timeline. Could even be as far back as childhood, but it will manifest physically. I mean, that's the holistic paradigm of medicine and health, which I think we're going to start having people accept that and realize that that's true to form. That's how things can work. That like if you don't acknowledge the emotional body, it has a very high chance of showing up as a physical ailment or symptom or condition.
Right. And if you don't take time for yourself and to restore and reboot, the universe takes you out physically.
Right. That's why a lot of people, they're like, oh, I ran the candle at both ends and now I'm sick or I got exposed to something and I'm, having to relax and get rebooted.
Right. And we saw this energetic in August. August, people are losing their minds.
Right. August was a kind of a wacky month because we had Mercury retrograde going on and then we had 4 to 5 other planets were retrograde. It was a big retrograde month.
Right.
And it was triggering people. We also had the powerful full moon in August that I think set a lot of people off. The full moons all summer are very powerful and major events politically tended to happen right on or near those full moons. And we're going to continue to see that. So I think we should talk about this solar eclipse because this is the companion eclipse to that much heralded Great American Eclipse, which happened on April 8th. This year, 2024. So this is October 2nd. So the April 8th was in Aries, sun and moon in Aries. And by the way, on a lunar eclipse, that's always going to be on a full moon when the moon and sun are in opposite signs. So on the 17th, it was moon in Pisces. Sun was in Virgo, but on a new moon, they tend to be in the same signs. And so for this October 2nd, it's in Libra. Tag, you're at Libra. And we have to look at what is Libra's archetype. It is of relationship.
Right. Ding,
ding, ding, ding. It also has to do with peace, diplomacy. Remember, it's ruled by Venus, and women are from Venus, men are from Mars, which rules Aries, the opposite sign. And the nodes of the moon, which travel through the sky, it's when we have them connect with the sun or moon, we have an eclipse. So they've been going through the sign Aries and Libra since July of 2023. And Aries North Node has brought up, transiting, a lot of warlike activity around the planet. So I'm hoping that with this eclipse with the sun and moon, both in Libra, we can get back to the peace negotiations. We can get back to harmony. We can get back to diplomacy and kind of tamper that aggressive energy that has been going on across the planet. But for your listeners, the very important thing to know about this new moon eclipse in Libra, relationships are under the gun. There's going to be a lot of energy with relationships breaking up. And we can always tell it's happening collectively because of the celebrity breakups we hear about on Entertainment Tonight or whatever source you get, People magazine. So there's going to be a lot of issues around relationships and can they weather these times? And the other thing is that eclipses always bring things that were hidden to the surface. Mm-hmm. Right. And that can be information. It can be psychological patterns. It can be ongoing situations that one did not want to see. And talking about seeing things this summer into this fall, a lot of people have been having eye issues that I have talked to. And so eyes are ruled by the sun in Vedic astrology. And so what an eclipse does, it occludes or hides the luminary of the sun and moon. So we all have to think about what are we not seeing in our life.
It's interesting. So there's two types of eclipses, the lunar and the solar.
Right.
The lunar is more challenging, would you say?
Well, in Western astrology, it's considered more challenging, where in Vedic astrology, the solar eclipse is. Now, lunar eclipse is a full moon, so it's great to release. I mean, don't start anything new. That's the other keynote. If you want to launch or do something, it's similar to Mercury retrograde. Don't start anything new or take on new enterprises like the month of the eclipse. So in this case, it'd be the 17th of September through the 17th of October, because you'll get false starts. And that's especially true around a solar eclipse because it's a new moon, but the new moon is eclipsed. You know, the sun is eclipsed and it's a new moon. So you wait for a week or two to start something new.
Okay. What about a relationship? Because a lot of relationships will be ending. Like you said, they won't withstand the storm, but a lot of new opportunities will come in as well.
That's right. So, and we are in the sign of Libra through the 22nd of October, which is traditionally the great time for dating, and it rules relationships. So I would say tread lightly and maybe tiptoe into new relationships and not go full steam ahead. Be very prudent and watch and see what comes up. The other thing is it could also catapult people into relationship faster because, you know, people are going through process or they've gone through process and they're ready to connect. But my caution would be to maybe, you know, take it slow for the 2 weeks after October 2nd. If it was something that started before that, like a lot of people may have connected with people this summer or September, again, there may be weird circumstances that keep you from connecting. That's the other thing. People, you know, like you meet somebody, yet then they have to go travel. So there could be a lot of obstacles to getting together and making that connection more solid, or even to make a connection, unfortunately.
Right. What I keep thinking about is, you have said, revisit what has happened to you in your past from 2015 to 2017. In 2015, I joined Tinder.
Wow.
And then in 2016, I started a new relationship. So that's kind of, a lot of things happen within those 2 years.
Right, because 2015 is 9 years ago. And so eclipses tend to go in the same signs, the same polarity of signs every 9 years. So we had Libra Aries back then going into Virgo Pisces, which is what we have now. They just changed though. So like the South Node back in 2015 was in Aries, North Node in Libra, which was like new initiative. And now it's the opposite. The South Node has been going through Libra, North Node in Aries, but it's the same polarity of self versus other, self versus other. And when the South Node is through Libra, which it is now, which is why we're having an eclipse in Libra with the sun and moon, it's like reassessing what you want out of relationship. I think everybody, whether they're in a relationship or starting one or ending one, it's a very, very good time under these eclipse patterns and the months following to reassess what is it that you want for relationship, and not to repeat past patterns that perhaps haven't worked, but also importantly with the North Node in Aries until January, what do you want for yourself? You know, how can you, maybe you want independence while in a relationship, or maybe you have been alone and you want really full-on partnership. So this is a great time to assess and figure it out.
Right. What are you seeing with your clients? Are you seeing people, because we've seen lots of things over the years, do you think that they are putting themselves out there, or are they holding themselves back, or are they just in different phases?
People are in different phases. And so we're waning out. Like I said, in January, the nodes of the moon will change to the signs of Virgo and Pisces, which is very much physical, emotional, body, health, concerns, boundaries. So we're going to see, I'm seeing already people, you know, having the health manifestation and less about relationship. Of course, when people want to come to a psychic astrologer like me, the big thing, I think it's so funny, is relationship for women. Mm-hmm. Even if they're in a marriage, they want to know about their husband. How is he doing? But pretty much most people, I would say the top topic is relationship. It's always with women, like, you know, it's always about a guy. No, not always, but I can sense within the first 5 minutes, okay, we're going to be getting into the relationship stuff about 10 minutes in. But then secondly would be health. Interesting. And then third is money.
Really?
Yeah. They're always the big three with psychics. Yeah. Relationship, health, money, and not necessarily in that order.
Makes sense. Now, people are unsure about what's happening in this country. They feel really destabilized. People are looking for safety, security, and we don't know what's going to happen. And you keep saying, because of the astrology, hold on to your hat. The news will be shocking.
Yeah, it's been pretty spot on with the astrological configurations bringing out the latest shock or wow. We had July 21st. I predicted that date. That was a full moon. Cancer Capricorn in the last degree. And I said there's going to be a major change politically, that people are going to be, wow. And that's when Biden stepped down. Then I said around the full moon in August, there was going to be a big situation. And that was the assassination attempt with Trump the first time. And then around the
blue moon.
The blue moon, right.
On the blue moon.
Yeah. And then we also, around the eclipse, we had the second assassination attempt, and that was the fallout from the presidential debate, and everybody was talking about eating Pat's comet. So there have been major news strikes around these lunar events. So we can certainly look into something coming out that can, sometimes this stuff is a little bit of a game changer, not really, because people are pretty holding strong to what they want. As far as candidates, but we will hear some revelations and information that hadn't come up thus far regarding the political scenario in the United States. I would say could happen right on the eclipse on the 2nd, but I predict it's going to come out between the 2nd and 9th of October, because Jupiter will go retrograde on the 9th. So that's like when a planet is stationary retrograde, and Gemini has to do with information. There's going to be something that pops. And then 2 days after that, Pluto has been retrograding in Capricorn since September 2nd, is going to go direct in Capricorn. So we got this window from about the 2nd to the 11th where there's going to be a lot of pops around the news.
Right. Well, it's going to be interesting because so far this year you've predicted to the day, and it was these full moons or eclipses. You've been spot on. I can't even believe your predictions. I mean, I know how good you are, but it's been very interesting because I've gone back to listen to old episodes that you've done on the show, and you've said things that I don't think people are going back to listen, but I am. And I can't believe some of the stuff that you say. So let's talk about the last part of this year. This is cuffing season, and this is the time of year when people typically get into a new relationship.
Right.
And they do that before the holiday season kicks in. But this really isn't traditional times by any means. And people definitely seem frantic and crazy. And
yeah, what's going to happen is it's almost like people have been so busy getting back into routine after the summer that September and early October, first half of October, it's like I feel relationships have kind of not been able to keep up, or people haven't had time, or it's just a hit or miss, or they may meet someone, let's say they're doing the apps, and then maybe the follow-up isn't so good. But I would say after the Aries full moon on October 17th, which again, we're in Libra still. And then then from the 22nd of October on, the sun is in Scorpio. People are going to want to get it on, so to speak, because Scorpio is all about getting on. Sex, rock and roll, bonding.
That's interesting. Well, I can see it with my friends where people are really just taking care of themselves. They're taking care of brass tacks. They're really gone internally, and I don't know why that is, but
I think it's to navigate these times, because the whammy that hit was on September 2nd. We had Pluto go retrograde back into Capricorn to finish up 14 years, and it will leave on the 19th of November, and we'll all be dancing in the streets because Pluto's going into Aquarius. The Aquarius age is officially here. 20 years. Pluto did his toe into Aquarius during the spring and early summer of 2023. And then from late January through September 2nd of this year, Pluto was in the early degrees of Aquarius, but it was more of a transitionary time. There was a lot of transition. Now, after the 19th of November, when it's moving forward into Aquarius, that's when we're going to see major change. But this is the time of, so Capricorn, we're closing up 14 years. That's why we're seeing breakdowns in our society. That's why we're seeing all this unfinished business come to the surface. I even feel like the wars going on in the Middle East are like karmic residual from those places where it's very war torn. It's like old karma. You know, people feel like we're going into World War III. I don't like to see that. I see these grievances and these, you know, people and have been in this conflict for a long time because it's almost like tribal warfare, but it's all coming to the surface. The other thing is that God is back, and boy, is she pissed. The goddess is back. And those areas where there's a lot of, especially in the Middle East, it was always male dominated, and the old paradigm of the patriarch, old boys club, male dominating is kind of coming to its last hurrah. That's why we're seeing that big flare up all over with the patriarch, old boys club, male energies. And there's going to be a lot more change around all that, like the new paradigm that we haven't had yet. So right. We'll look forward to that. I mean, we did have it. And guess when we had Pluto in Aquarius last? 1778, right after the United States was formed, and the whole founding of the United States with the Constitution and all of that. So we're revisiting the time from 1778 to 1799. That's the last time the world was in a Pluto and Aquarius cycle. So that was a very big time. Like Australia was was forming as a country. The U.S. was forming as a country, and a lot of major worldwide things were going on. But you know, that's 240 years ago.
Well, what you did say in the beginning of this year in January, you said that, I don't know if it has to do with Pluto, but you said typically whatever was happening astrology-wise, more women would come into power.
Right. I mean, Aquarius will always bring in the non-traditional type. It will always bring in non-traditional and sort of the revolutionary type. Okay.
So even though we're not in traditional times, how can people work these energies in a positive way?
Well, I think it's really important, as you mentioned earlier, to go within. I mean, the world might feel crazy out there, so you be the peace you want to be in the world, especially during this Libra time, during October. Be the peace. Libra is a sign of peace, but you're not going to see that peace out there. It's kind of chaotic right now, and it's warmongering, around the world. So be that peace, as Gandhi said, I believe, or some dharmic teacher said that, and really. Definitely do your self-work. Definitely go within, because you're better in relationship if you're a better you.
Yes, absolutely. And I think people need to be really discerning what they do with their time, their energy, their mind, what they're feeding it.
Oh, absolutely. And with Jupiter going retrograde in Gemini on the 9th of October, that's going to become very, very evident. People are going to be like, hey, energy flows where attention goes. So you have a choice where you can put your attention. And I highly suggest that people make that choice, because the more that you're pulled into things that are on the internet or on TV, the more that's your reality. And that's going to take away from your peace of mind. And peace of mind is so important right now.
Well, I think people need to trust their intuition, protect their own energy, like you said, and because that is whatever you focus on is your reality. And if you listen to yourself and your intuition, if certain things will go away that don't serve you anymore, and that's okay.
Right. And we have to remember that eclipse in Pisces, Virgo, and the upcoming eclipses for the next until February 2027. Pisces, Virgo is all about boundaries. So people should be vigilant in protecting their boundaries, including how they spend their time or energy. And there's a lot of projection out there where people don't want to take responsibility, so they'll put it out on others. I've seen that across the board in people's professional work lives. If they don't work for themselves, there's a lot of projection that of stuff. And then again, maybe it's their subconscious needing that lesson. So there's a lot of that insidious boundary testing going on. The other thing I wanted to say is that the Earth in general is accelerating between the Schumann resonance of the planet, which is the Earth's heartbeat speeding up. That's been scientifically tested. The the indigenous people call it the heartbeat of Mother Earth. And then we're having a lot of energy coming in, galactic downloads, which are, basically like solar flares and other things. So between the Earth speeding up and then we're getting all these frequencies coming in from, let's say, higher dimensions, it's pretty intense. And that's why, people are accelerating their evolution too. Animals are. But if you're with a partner when it comes to relationship and you're doing your work and you're evolving and the partner is stagnant or doesn't want to grow, that rift is becoming a bigger and bigger discrepancy in relationships.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, eclipses force growth and force you to have a clean slate. So you've got to get aligned with the person you're with, or it's not going to withstand, like you said.
Right. So, dating, you asked me earlier, what's going to be a great new start for dating is, drum roll, November 1st. We're going to have a Scorpio new moon. The new moons were in September and October, falling on the second of the month. But in November and December, we've got a Scorpio new moon on November 1st, All Souls Day. And December 1st, we've got the Sag new moon. Those are two great opportunities to get your groove on with dating. Scorpio new moon is all about bonding, and then Mercury will go into Sagittarius on the 2nd. So November actually looks like a really good month this year for dating.
That's good. That's great.
It was eclipsed in the last 2-3 years, and now finally we got a nice November, although Mercury will go retrograde on the 25th of November, the Monday before Thanksgiving, just to throw a whammy into your Thanksgiving travel. Right. And Mercury stays retrograde until the 15th of December.
Just to have all those recycled boyfriends, recyclers.
Right. Show up in your neighborhood. Hey, I'm back.
For Thanksgiving.
I'm back at my parents'. You up?
I love that. Well, if that's what happens and November is the month, tell us about December.
I think December, again, by December, we'll be getting almost like a head start on January in 2025. Certainly after the 15th, when Mercury goes direct in Sagittarius, the same day there's a Gemini full moon. So the 15th of December is like, whoo, it's a shifter. It's going to start telling us and showing us after the 15th what's coming in 2025. So there's no obstruction. So it's like full speed ahead. Then there's a new moon in Capricorn on the 30th of December. So even though it falls around holiday season, I just feel like there's no Mercury retrograde like there was all last Christmas season, holiday season. So I just think December is going to give us a direction on what's coming next. Neptune, outer planet Neptune goes direct on the 7th of December. Mercury goes direct on the 15th. Gemini full moon on the 15th. We've got the winter solstice on the 21st. And then we have a new moon in Capricorn on the 30th. So that second half of December is such a green light, as is, I feel like, most in November too.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
So really the month to get through is October.
Yes. Actually, so there's a full moon in Taurus on the 15th of November, and then Saturn goes direct on the 15th of November, and then Pluto goes into Aquarius. So there's a lot of activity that third week of November. And I'm even feeling like with Pluto in the last degrees of Sag for the last time in our lifetime, or even our grandchildren's lifetime, that election may not be as clear cut. Mm-hmm. We've had that in past years. I do feel there will be some debate around the results of the election, courtesy of Pluto retrograde.
You've always said that. You've been saying that for a while, and it hasn't changed.
Oh, okay. So I hold by that. I keep looking at that Pluto, and Pluto's saying, it's not going to be as clear cut. It's going to be very transformative for everybody involved.
I think you're right, but We're not political analysts here. We're doing so
Right.
much shot at love.
Yeah, we're feel good here. We don't want to get into the political realm of duality. We're trying to vibe in the higher frequencies than polarizing.
Right. But it's hard not with this heated election when you have predicted all these things that have happened.
Right. I mean, the energy on 3D is playing out the way that it can be predicted.
Right.
I mean, it's finishing up. There's a lot of karmic residual that is going on and playing itself out in our third dimensional antics.
Well, this has been such an interesting, powerful, cosmic conversation. I just always learn so much from you coming on Shot at Love. Where can people find out more about you and learn how to handle the unexpected here?
Yes, check me out on my website, JillJardineAstrology.com. That's Jill, Jill, Jardine, Jardine, astrology.com. All one word. And also listen to my podcast, Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine, available on all major podcast platforms. At the beginning of every month, I do my Astro update for the coming month. So it's a lot of prediction. And I also give you your sun sign predictions for the coming month. So my October one will be out by that eclipse. And then at the beginning of each month, I got to get it out early to catch those new moons that are happening at the beginning of the month. So check it out.
And if you want to just hold on to some positivity, those new moons that are happening in the beginning of each month will bring new opportunity for sure.
November, December. Yeah.
Yeah.
October, not so much.
Right. Hold on to your hat, as you always say. We'll have to have you back in early January to see what your predictions were, how it all played out.
We're all waiting with bated breath.
Thanks, Jill.
Thank you, Kerry.
For now, this week's Shot at Love dating tips, which are inspired by our guest, astrologer and psychic healer, Jill Jardine. Number 1, embrace new beginnings. Solar eclipses symbolize fresh starts and new opportunities, especially in relationships. If you've hesitated to put yourself out there, now is the perfect time. Remember, the eclipse is in Libra, the sign of relationships, and can open doors to unexpected connections. Number 2, energy flows where attention goes. During this time of powerful planetary shifts, be selective about where you focus your attention and who you invest your time in. Eclipses can reveal hidden truths, so trust your instincts and don't be afraid to cut ties with people or situations that no longer serve you. Number 3, reflect on past lessons. Themes from 2015 and 2017 may resurface, offering you a chance to learn from past relationship experiences. Reflect on what worked and what didn't, and use that wisdom to navigate the changes and opportunities during this eclipse season. I hope you found some of my tips helpful this week. This is what Shot at Love is here for, to help you find love. Keep up the commitment to yourself and commit to helping someone else by sharing this podcast. Stay safe and stay tuned for more episodes. And if you like this show, please subscribe and leave a 5-star review. I'm Kerry Brett, and we'll see you next time.